Good morning and welcome to the Return Homestead. My name is Mike and my wife Marty and I homestead 50 acres in southeastern Kentucky. Today it's a little bit windy. It's not raining though, so we're going to be spending a lot of time in the garden. We thought we'd start the day with a quick garden tour. Let y'all know what we've got growing in the garden this year. On the side of the house, in the first year we had squash, second year corn, this year sunflowers. Marty's got some squash growing over here, and we've got elderberry stuck in just about everywhere in the garden. Also mixed in with the squash, we have several watermelons. And over here on the ground in the grass, you'll see one of our squash plants. Looks like the vine borer's got this one. We got a little desperate this year trying to avoid having to weed so often. We didn't put the weed fabric down on these beds before we planted them, and the weeds were just out of control. This mulch was the only option we had to quickly get those weeds under control. It's not perfect, but it is helping quite a bit. We have really enjoyed the sauerkraut over the winter. Gary's been kind enough to be bringing us cabbages on a fairly regular basis in exchange for eggs, but we're really looking forward to having our own cabbages. These things are growing well. We've got some nice heads forming. A little bit of bug damage, but they're surviving.
As you can see here, my cilantro is starting to bolt. I'll let this go to seed now and harvest this for next year's crop. Right here I've got some dill. These are strawberries that we're moving out of snake pit. This tomato is a volunteer. God planted this, we didn't. We didn't put any tomatoes in this year. We've got more onions over here and fennel. Like I said, I was gonna really up my herb game. This is chamomile. This is the best time to harvest it. And you just want to pop these off in the morning. This is catnip. This is our nighttime tea. We use this and lemon balm. And then the orange and yellow flowers are all calendula. I will be making an oil infusion for oils, salves, and things like that. That's a volunteer sunflower. This is one of our elderberries, and it's huge. This is one that we brought from Nevada. This is not a wild. This is my sage, and I need to harvest it. It's getting pretty good. Bushy. It's all still bolting, but that's okay. It doesn't change the flavor. This is a mulberry tree, and this is its third year. We still haven't got berries off of it, but we do need to get some pruning done on it because it's a mulberry bush at this point. And another sage. This sage isn't doing quite as good, but I just fertilized it, so it's coming back to life. And you guys, I finally got my comfrey. It was growing in the front yard. I don't know how it got there. This is our third year here, and it wasn't there last year. But as you can see, it's doing beautiful. I transplanted it around our peach tree. This is for the chickens. So we have corn and sunflowers. They love their sunflowers. These are volunteer potatoes. If you ever wondered, could you overwinter potatoes? Here's your proof. We didn't plant these. This is our apple tree. And as you can see, we do have a few apples on it. We lost a bunch in the windstorm, as well as the tree. And there's my fuzzy hens. Hi, sweet. That's a rue right there. As far as I know, only have 2 in here. This is pumpkin. Now, the only place we can really grow squash, pumpkins, things like that, seems to be up here by the chicken coop. This is the apple tree we lost in the last storm. And it's healthy and it's still growing. We just haven't chopped it up. Part of the root is attached still, so the tree is still living. I'm sure we could probably stake it up and put it back in the ground, but we've never seen an apple on this tree in the going on 3 years. There's another mulberry tree, and there's another one right there. So we're really tired of mowing, so anywhere I can, I put down weed fabric. It works great, except for where the holes were original. We repurpose, reuse everything. This is dill that I stuck in one hole. And this is our main garden. So we've planted 2 flats of hot banana peppers. As you can see, that one's turning orange, so they're getting close to being ripe, but these plants are totally loaded. This will give us a lot of hot pepper sauce. If you haven't caught that video on making fermented pepper sauce, this stuff is dynamite. So I will soon be fermenting like crazy, as you can see. Peppers have lectins in them, and Mike and I don't do well with lectins, but if you ferment them, it kills the lectins. This one's almost ready. And this is another row of peppers. Look at the size of those peppers. This is a honey locust tree that we brought from Nevada. We brought the seed. We collected the pods, brought the seed. And honey locusts are nitrogen fixers. So we are putting them all through the backyard. It also will give us some coverage. Here's another one that will have to be replanted. This is clary sage, and it needs to be harvested.
And we've got blueberries growing in 2 different rows here. There's 2 different varieties of blueberries. Very healthy plants. They didn't grow much this year, but we did actually get a few of these blueberries off of them. When we planted these, we intermixed the varieties. So you see the small plant there is a different type. And a walk back between the blueberries lands us at the blackberries. These are absolutely gorgeous this year. We had no idea when Robbie gave us these roots. That was only a couple of weeks after we had moved in. And he gave us these roots and said, go plant these somewhere, you'll be glad you did. And I quickly grabbed a shovel, got the roots stuck in the ground, and we kind of ignored them for the next year. The following year we got a trellis put up on them, tried to train them to that trellis. We only got a handful of blackberries that year. This year looks like it's going to be a bumper crop. These blackberries are growing faster than I anticipated. Some of these canes are at least 12 feet long. Some of them look like they're going to go a lot longer. and we're having a difficult time keeping them trained up to the trellis so that we can walk down between the rows. Kind of an important part of being able to pick these things. You can see here just how long these canes are. Our pear tree is looking very healthy. It's growing well. We don't have any pears this year. It didn't offer to grow any. We didn't see a single flower. But the tree itself looks really strong and healthy. It's growing crazily. Probably have to prune this up in the fall.
So it's a little less windy back here in the camellia yard. We did get our camellias planted a couple weeks ago, and they seem to be doing quite well. They are surrounded by weeds though. And we knew this was going to happen. We weren't too concerned about that. I don't believe the weeds are going to interfere with the camellia's growth at all. But we would like to be able to control this a little bit better. And one of our neighbors has access to large amounts of paper shred. And this particular paper was printed without any toxic inks. So he belongs to an organic gardening group. And they have access to this resource, and they were kind enough to share with us. So we got several large bags of this paper shred, and we're using it as mulch. And it appears to be doing a really great job of keeping the weeds down here out in the camellia yard. So we'll have to get the last of these camellias taken care of. Make sure we get that paper around them as well. And out here in the chicken yard, we have tried the maggot bucket again. I do see a lot of scratching that's been taking place under the bucket, so that kind of tells me that all of those flies sitting on the top of the bucket have done their job. And there are lots of maggots coming out of the bucket at regular intervals. And the chickens are coming over and eating those, so that's good news. We're getting extra protein into the chickens. And the inside of the bucket is just a collection of old hay and what was left over from the chickens after we made Sunshine's dog food. We do get lots of good nitrogen here next to the chicken run. So the chicken manure inside of the run, when it rains, all of that nitrogen washes out, so we plant squash right here along the chicken run. They're doing exceptionally well. We do have squash planted in the beds as well, but that squash is being attacked by vine borers right now. But this stuff up here along the chicken fence seems to be perfectly healthy. Right here in front of the chicken coops, we do have a turkey fig. And I don't know anything about figs yet. We put it in the ground and we've managed to keep it alive. The goats did come out and eat on it one year. And I don't really know what you're supposed to do to get this thing to produce figs. So I've got a little research to do so we can understand how to get good fruit out of this in years to come. And also here in the garden, we have a peach tree we just added this year. We relocated one of the mulberries and put it here in the middle of the garden, and then we put a peach tree next to it here. The idea is to create more of a food forest than a garden. So we're starting to add a lot of these deciduous trees that will produce fruit.
This is marshmallow. We had this growing out in the front yard. We transplanted it. I need to harvest the flowers and the leaves. They are super good for your skin and will make a nice tea. This is mullein. Now I tincture this and take it every day. This is a biennial plant, and it will put up what's called as Aaron's rod on the second year, and then it blooms every year. We transplanted this out of the front yard into our herb garden. These leaves are super soft. I dry the leaves and the flowers. Now the thing with mullein is every one of these will give you thousands of seeds. So off of one plant, you're going to have 1,000 seeds that once they spread, you will always have mullein. This is always so tricky. Get back, get back, get back, get back. Hi, sweet babies. Ouch. Hi, sweet. You gotta let me in. You gotta let me in. Hey, careful. Hey, Sable. Come on, guys. Come on. Get out of the way. These guys really like this.
So up here we've got Marty in the chicken coop, or in the chicken run, with the silkies. And she has a special treat for them. Now the silkies are definitely working chickens. We do want them to lay eggs, but they're really more pets. They're because they're just entertaining little birds to have around. And so that's why they're here. Marty wanted treats so she could train the chickens to appreciate her and come around her when she comes into the run. And so what we found, we had a company contact us and ask if we would try out their treats.
Yep.
It took a very skittish chicken and made it a pet.
Yeah, these little guys would not let you touch them, much less pick them up. But they'll do anything for an opportunity to eat a few bugs.
This is Sable. Okay, you got to give some to your brothers and sisters.
So the folks at Grubterra were kind enough to send us a sample of a product that they make that's specifically for chickens. And it's just fly larvae. Hun, read those ingredients off. What's in there?
Ingredients. Black soldier fly larva.
Huh.
That's it.
Now they will eat these black soldier fly larvae, which we cannot eat.
Chickens love it.
Chickens love it though. They can eat it and turn that into protein in eggs. So this is a conversion program on our part. We're converting a non-edible protein into an edible protein.
But they don't mind being touched now, nothing. You, Blueface.
So Blueface is our rooster. You'll notice the rooster kind of stands out. The hens will come by and preen the feathers on his face to keep them out of his eyes so he has better visibility to protect the flock. So if he'll pop his head up, you'll see the rooster specifically because he has no feathers on his face, or it looks like he has none.
Let's see if I can get his attention. Oh,
He's pretty busy eating right now. Hey,
he bites. Ouch.
how easy was it to work with these guys and actually get the black soldier fly larvae from them?
First of all, Grubterra's customer service is great. So every step of the process, I received an email telling me that they'd received my order was being ready to ship, when it shipped, and when it delivered. And this is the kind of customer service I prefer. I don't want to have to stop and try to remember what it was I ordered, because
Right.
nowadays you have to order a lot of things, even though we're trying to stay local. This was well worth it.
So this was a transaction where we weren't even making a purchase. They were just shipping us something for free, and yet they made sure to take good care of us, held our hand through the whole process of getting the Grubterra bag here. And the chickens have absolutely loved this stuff.
Be careful. Well, you got it. She has so many feathers in her head she can't see.
Now this is definitely a case of we would prefer to either make it ourselves or buy it locally. We don't have any black soldier fly larva farms here in London, Kentucky, at least not yet. And we haven't had time to build one, which we probably will. So having the folks at Grub Terra producing the black soldier fly larvae that we would prefer to use to feed to the chickens, it's kind of nice to have that available for us to check them out and see if the chickens like them.
You have a hard time seeing, don't you?
We suspect this particular chicken has some issues with eyesight. She, as you can see, has a hard time seeing the grubs even when they're right in front of her face. She eventually does eat them.
There you
There
go.
we go.
Just got to move her hair out of her eyes.
It's all right though. The other chickens will push her up to the food bowl. She eats just as much as everybody else. So if she is blind, it's not hurting her much.
She still scratches. Now, Grub Terra will give you a 10% discount. So when you make your order, you want to use the code MARTI10, and that's MARTI 10, and you'll get 10% off your order.
So thank you to the folks at Grub Terra. I'm sure you guys will appreciate that 10% discount. And the chickens definitely appreciate the black soldier fly larvae. Well, that takes care of the chickens. Everybody's fed. We've taken a good look at the garden. We see the work that we need to get done today, but we've got to head into town. One of the things we discovered yesterday, Marty was canning up some pepper sauce, and she only got, what, 7 pints?
Yes.
So 7 pints of pepper sauce was all she got out of her first harvest from the peppers. It's not really what we're hoping for. We need multiple quarts, probably like 15 or 20 quarts of this hot sauce if we're going to make it through the winter.
We use about a pint a week.
About a pint a week. So we're going through a lot of this pepper sauce.
26 quarts.
It is absolutely amazing. It is probably the best pepper sauce I've ever had, and it changes every time she makes it, but it's absolutely delightful on any meat that we put it on. So we want to make plenty of this pepper sauce, and we're running out of peppers. So we're going to head into town, see if we can find an open nursery. They're all clearing out their stock for the year, so it's really past time to get the peppers in the ground. So any we find are going to be on sale. We're going to go have a look.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Thank you for joining us on the Return Homestead today. If you're interested in that Grub Terra offer, the code was MARTI, M-A-R-T-I 10. So it's Marti and the number 10. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please take a moment to just pop that window open and hit that subscribe button while you've got the window open. If you wouldn't mind, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. That'll let the algorithm know you enjoyed the video and they'll share it out with more people. And we'll see you next time.